Hi, I'm Shannon with Soap Elf, and I wanted to show you today a quick and easy way to install my favorite new shelving system, the ClosetMate system that Home Depot has. I've used the Rubbermaid system before and I've installed that too, but I really like the way that these function. So what you'll need is from the store, get your bar in the size that you need. Get the very longest of these support bars that you can fit into your project area, and trust me on that. Don't think, oh, I only want one shelf, so I'm just going to get that size, because if you want to change later, then you're going to have to go buy the longer one. So just buy the longer one from the beginning, and then if you don't want to put shelves on it, you don't have to. You'll need the shelves. Don't forget the end cap, like I did today when I was there. They have small and large, and there's a combo pack, so make sure you get the ones that are just the small end caps, or else you're paying for half of the stuff that you don't need. You'll need a level with the magnetic end. That's really important. And then while you're there, these don't come with mounting hardware, so don't do what I do and buy the anchors, these drywall anchors. You don't want that. For the shelves, you want the lag nuts, or the lag bolts, I think they're called. And I'll try to show you those a little bit more. So, and safety glasses. You always want to wear safety glasses when you're doing home improvement projects, because your eyesight, not something to mess with. So, once you have all that stuff, and a drill and drill bits, instead of finding the space on the wall and then marking all your holes and trying to get them all level and doing all that, this is where it becomes super simple with the way that I've figured out how to do it. Hang your level just on your, whatever this thing is called, the support, the back support thing. Figure out where there's a stud in the process of where you want the shelf to be. So let's just say, for sake of argument, that I have a stud right here. Drill your hole into the stud and then loosely put this screw in that hole. Just loose enough that it'll hold it in place. Now it's going to be able to move, but yet it's still there. You don't have to hold it. So now you can take your drill or a marker, whatever you want to do to mark it, and then just go down. Once you get it level, go down in those holes and make your marks. You can either make starter drill holes or just mark it. Now, let me see if I can show you a little bit of difference between the products you can use, because you may not know what a lag screw is. Okay, this is a lag screw, okay? It's designed to go up against the drywall like that. So you want the open side where your drywall is going to be. So let's say my hand is a piece of drywall. So we would drill a hole big enough to fit that through, okay? The big enough of the opening, which is going to seem huge, and that's okay, because it's all going to be covered up with the support bar. So drill a hole big enough for this, and put your lag screw or nut or bolt or whatever this thing is called, put this piece on the back of your screw. And this is just in general. I'll show you how to do it with this thing in a second. So it goes, your screws in like so. This is not a match. That's why I say buy the packet while you're there, so you're prepared. So you screw that in just a little bit, you squeeze it like that, you push it through the hole. When it gets past the drywall, it pops open like that. Then you screw it in. It pulls up against the drywall like that, and that's why it's more secure for shelving, okay? So if you have this thing halfway put up, how in the heck do you do that? Okay, this is how. Because you're going to leave that one screw loose, so you can move that bar back and forth. So if you've got a 2.5 inch screw, and you only put it in about a 1/2 inch, you've got 1.5 inches or so to work with, okay? If it goes into a stud, you just need a screw, no big deal. Just drill a hole, and if you don't know how to choose your drill bit size, what you do is, I don't think I can get this in focus. What you do, you choose a drill bit that's a little bit smaller than your screw, so that it just is kind of the center. You should be able to see the outside of your screw when you hold the drill bit right up to it. You want it to be just big enough that the screw will fit in there fairly easily, but plenty enough room to be able to get a hold of the wall and hold it in place. Okay, so if you're just doing into the stud, you can go straight in with your drill bit and your nail or screw. If you're going into drywall or sheetrock, whatever you want to call it, you need to drill a big hole. Like I said, big enough for the diameter, because you're going to take that, you want the hole big enough that you can slip that lag screw thing in there. Okay, so we've got this up on the wall, right? It's loose, we can pull it back. We've determined, let's say for sake of argument, see if I can get that spot in focus. Okay, close enough. So let's say for sake of argument that we want to put a screw here to put it in the wall, but it's just in the sheetrock or the drywall. Okay, we've got this one that's loose, so we can move our bar around, or if we have to, now that we've got our drill sites set, you can take that back out and remove this if you need for your giant hole. So let's just say we've got our giant holes built. We've got that holding it in place. We're trying to get this one in place. It'll be out far enough that you can take that, whatever this thing is called. Make sure you get it right so the open side is towards you. So you can reach back behind here and you'll be able to see, because you've got a hole here where your screw's going, and just put your screw in there enough that it's going to hold on here, and you have time to figure out whether you're tightening or loosening, because if you're loosening it, you're going to loosen it right out in between the wall, and then you'll have to start over, which is why you buy lots of these when you're at the store, so you have plenty. So you put that back behind, put your screw in there, and you tighten it up, you squeeze it like so, and pop it in your hole. You would be right here now, and leave that loose. Okay, you want that one loose also, and work that process until you have them all done. And then once they're all in there, whether they're screws or whether there's these lag things, then you can go back and tighten everything up. The other thing that I learned the hard way is always put this thing as high up as you can. That gives you the opportunity to go back later as your needs change and adjust it. Don't do what I do and start it out thinking, I only want a shelf that high, and so I put this thing originally where I wanted my top shelf. Don't do that, because then I decided I had all this wasted space and I had to go buy this one and install it because it was just cheaper. And then the other one that I did it to, I was able to take it out of the wall. It wasn't cheaper, it was easier. It was expensive. That's why I'm saying put it high. I've got another set, and it was easier to get the shelves off. It wasn't an 18-foot bar that already had a bunch of junk set on it. So that one I was able to just take off the wall and move it up. And I had purchased really long of these things, and so I was able to buy more of these supports, and I added 3 or 4 more shelves with no problem whatsoever. So that's why I say start off high with this, long with this, and that way you can infinitely adjust it. If you don't want a shelf from here, all the way down, then just don't put one there. It's no big deal. But you can go back and change it later. So that's it. You've installed the shelf. You got this thing up there without a bunch of hassle, because you just went with one screw to begin with. You magnetically held your level on here. Well, you got that steady. You marked all your holes. Well, you just had that one thing in. Then you went in, screwed them all in. You put your lug nuts in if you needed them. If you were in a stud, you just screwed them right in. These guys hook up in here, and let me show you. Notice how this is. Make sure you get it right side up. That would make a person angry to install that whole process upside down. So always look at that. These guys kind of slip underneath here, and then you snap them down straight. And that's all there is to it. That's why I love these things. They're super easy, and I highly recommend it to anybody. So thank you for watching, and I hope that helps just a little bit, and it makes it easier, and you don't have to go through that learning curve like I went through. Alright, thanks for watching. This is Shannon from Soap Elf.